I never thought the wide-open skies of Montana could feel so suffocating. Growing up on our family ranch in the shadow of the Rockies, where the wind carries the scent of pine and distant cattle, you'd think freedom was baked into the air. But for me, Riley Hayes, it was a prison of unspoken rules and crushed dreams. My parents, Jack and Sarah Hayes, were legends in our small town of Billings, him a retired rodeo rider turned cattle baron, her a former barrel racer who'd traded saddles for managing the books. They built our life on hard work, resilience, and what they called practical sense. Music? That was my secret fire. The one they doused every chance they got. From as far back as I can remember, melodies haunted me like ghosts in the prairie night. I'd hum along to the old country tunes crackling from Dad's truck radio, my voice blending with the twang of guitars and heartache lyrics. But whenever I dared sing out loud, they'd shut it down. "Riley, stick to roping calves," Dad would grunt, his calloused hands waving me off like I was a stray dog. "That voice of yours is fine for church choir, but don't go dreaming big. It'll only break you." Mom would nod, her eyes distant, adding, "We've seen enough folks chase stars and end up in the dirt. Know your place, honey." Their words weren't just advice, they were chains, wrapping tighter with every year. Inside, though, doubt warred with defiance. Was I really that mediocre? Or was there something deeper? A reason they pushed so hard against the one thing that made my heart beat faster? I replayed those moments endlessly in my mind. The time I was 8, sneaking into the barn to strum an old guitar Dad kept hidden away, only for him to snatch it mid-note, his face thunderous. "This ain't for you," he'd snapped, locking it in the tack room. Why the anger? Why not encouragement? The questions gnawed at me, turning sleep into a battlefield of what-ifs. I felt like a shadow in my own life, invisible except when I stepped wrong. High school amplified the torment. While other kids partied at bonfires or chased scholarships in sports, I hid in the school music room during lunch, fingers flying over piano keys misses. "Lawson, the teacher, let me use. You've got soul in that voice. Riley," she'd say with a wink. "Don't let anyone dim it." Her words were lifelines, but at home, they evaporated. College loomed, and my parents hammered the plan: study agribusiness at Montana State, take over the ranch. "Music's a fool's game," Dad lectured over dinner, his fork stabbing the air. Rejection after rejection. And for what? A broke-down dream. Mom's sigh was a knife twist. "We just want stability for you. Happiness comes from solid ground." But solid ground felt like quicksand. The ache inside grew. A storm building. Why did their protection feel like punishment? I started questioning everything, my worth, their motives. Were they hiding something? The suspicion crept in like fog over the mountains, cold and unrelenting. Then, one blistering summer evening, I overheard them whispering in the kitchen. "She can't know," Mom hissed. It'd ruin everything. Dad's reply was muffled, but the fear in his tone chilled me. Ruin what? My pulse raced, betrayal simmered. That night, alone in my room with the stars mocking me through the window, I vowed to uncover the truth. No more shrinking. If they were lying, I'd make them pay with exposure, with success they couldn't ignore. Revenge burned hot, but deeper still was the hurt, the why of it all tearing at my soul. I dove into secret practice with a vengeance. Borrowed a neighbor's recording setup, old Mr. Wilkins, half-deaf from years on tractors, and cut demos in his shed, my voice pouring out raw emotion into the mic. Country ballads that spoke of loss and fire, Pieces that felt like extensions of my fractured heart. Why hide this gift? The question looped endlessly, fueling each note. I applied to the Western Music Institute's blind auditions online. No names, just sound. It was a shot in the dark. But if I nailed it, it'd be proof undeniable, shattering their facade. The wait was agony. Every creak of the ranch house amplified my paranoia. What if they found out? What secret were they guarding so fiercely? Inner turmoil raged. Part of me craved their approval. Another plotted confrontation. Finally, the email came while I mended fences under the relentless sun. Callback secured. Joy exploded, mixed with fury. This was it, my weapon. But as I stared at the screen, tears blurring the words, doubt whispered, what if revenge destroys us all? The conflict clawed deeper, emotions swirling like a dust storm. Confronting them felt like walking into a gunfight. Over breakfast, pancakes uneaten, I laid it out. I auditioned blind for the Western Music Institute. Got a call back. Silence dropped like a hammer. Dad's coffee cup froze midair. Mom's face paled. You what? He growled. After all we've said? It's proof, I shot back, voice trembling. Proof you are wrong. But their eyes held panic, not pride. Mom whispered, Riley, please drop it. Why the fear? My heart hammered. Revenge tasted bitter now, overshadowed by the gaping wound of their deceit. The ranch felt smaller after that revelation. Every fence post a reminder of the walls closing in. I paced my room that night, the wooden floors creaking under my boots, replaying their panicked faces. Why beg me to drop it? What horror lurked behind their protection? The inner storm intensified, anger at their control, sorrow for the years lost to self-doubt. I imagined exposing them to the town, watching their reputations crumble like dry soil. Revenge pulsed like a heartbeat, but guilt twisted alongside. They were my blood, flawed as they were. Sleep evaded me, replaced by visions of a life unlived. My voice silenced forever. Morning brought no relief. Dad avoided me in the barn, muttering about chores. Mom's eyes were red-rimmed, her usual poise shattered. I cornered her by the kitchen sink, dishes clattering. Tell me the truth, I demanded, my voice low but fierce. Why fight this so hard? She froze, suds dripping from her hands. Riley, some things are better left buried. Buried? The word ignited fury. Like my talent? Like whatever you're hiding? Tears welled in her eyes. But she turned away. The rejection stung deeper than any critique, fueling my resolve. If they wouldn't confess, I'd dig it up myself. I rifled through old boxes in the attic that afternoon, dust choking the air, my mind a whirlwind of accusations. Why sabotage your own child? Photos tumbled out. Mom young and vibrant on a horse, Dad grinning post-rodeo. But deeper, a locked trunk. Heart pounding, I pried it open with a crowbar from the shed. Inside, sheet music yellowed with age. Demo tapes labeled Sarah songs and newspaper clippings. Local star Sarah Hayes auditions for Nashville, dreams dashed by scandal.
Sa skandal?
My breath caught. Articles detailed a failed audition, rumors of sabotage by rivals, a breakdown that ended her career. Dad's name appeared too, a lawsuit he filed against a promoter for fraud, losing everything before rebuilding on the ranch. Pieces clicked with sickening clarity. Their protection was projection. Their fears my cage. But why lie about my ability? Deeper in the trunk, a journal. Mom's handwriting. Riley's voice at 5. Pure gold. Better than mine ever was. Jack says we can't let her follow this path. It'll destroy her like it did us.
Destroy?
Rage boiled over, mixed with pity's sharp edge. They'd known I was gifted, perhaps exceptional, and smothered it to shield me from their ghosts. The betrayal hit like a bucking bronco, knocking the wind out. How could love twist into this? Inner conflict raged hotter, revenge screamed for justice. But empathy whispered of their pain, their misguided shield. That evening, I confronted them in the living room. The trunk's contents spread like evidence in a trial. "You knew," I accused, voice cracking. "You knew I had talent and lied to bury it." Dad's face crumpled, Mom sobbed. "We were scared," he admitted, voice rough. "I lost a fortune to crooked deals in the music circuit, sued. But the laws back then favored the big shots. Your mom. She cracked under the pressure, hospitalized for months. Legal clarity dawned. In Montana, entertainment contracts were cutthroat, protections minimal for independence. They'd navigated a system rigged against dreamers, emerging scarred. But their confession unleashed my storm. "You had no right," I cried, tears hot. "You stole my confidence, my path." The drama peaked, voices rising like a Montana thunderstorm. Dad pleaded. "We thought stability was the gift, ranch life.
No heartbreaks."
Mom reached for me. "Forgive us, Riley. We were wrong." Forgiveness? Not yet. Hurt dominated. Revenge plotting in my mind. I'd ace the callback. Go public with their deceit. Let the town judge. Yet, as they sat broken before me, a flicker of humanity pierced the rage. Were they villains or victims? The internal war deepened. Emotions roar, pulling me toward a precipice. I stormed out, driving aimlessly under the vast sky, wind whipping through the truck windows. Why couldn't they guide instead of crush? The lesson simmered. Fear poisons love. But revenge's allure faded slightly, replaced by a yearning for healing. Still, the callback loomed, my chance to claim what's mine. As stars emerged, doubt crept. What if success without truth feels hollow? The turmoil intensified, every mile amplifying the ache. Back home,
Silence reigned.
I prepared in secret, voice lessons via online forums, practicing in the old barn where echoes hid my notes. Each session fueled by resentment, yet laced with sorrow. Their faces haunted me, aged by regret. Could I destroy them? The question tormented, emotions surging like a river after rain. Days blurred into a haze of preparation and unspoken tension on the ranch. The callback audition for the Western Music Institute burned in my calendar like a brand. But inside, the revelations festered. Mom's journal entries replayed in my head. Riley's gift terrifies me. It's everything I lost. Their fear was palpable now, a mirror to my own insecurities. But understanding bred complexity, revenge no longer felt clean. What if exposing them shattered the fragile family we'd built? The internal rift widened, pity clashing with fury, leaving me raw and exposed. I caught Dad watching me from the porch one dawn, his coffee steaming in the chill air. "Riley," he called softly. I paused, heart guarded. "We never meant to clip your wings." Wings? The metaphor stung, ironic from the man who'd grounded me. "Then why?" I whispered, voice breaking. He sighed, eyes distant. "After Sarah's breakdown, the docs said it was the stress. The cutthroat world. I sued that promoter for breach of contract. Montana law requires clear terms, but he had lawyers who buried us in appeals. Lost the case. Nearly the ranch. We vowed no child of ours would face that. Legal scars. Etched deep. In the West, where independence is gospel, Their defeat must have humiliated. But it didn't excuse the lies. Mom joined us, her face etched with lines I'd never noticed. Your voice. Honey, it's prodigious. We heard it early, in those lullabies you sang to the horses. But we panicked, convinced the industry would chew you up. Prodigious. The word hung, validating yet infuriating. Why not nurture it safely? The drama unfolded in quiet confessions, tears flowing freely. We discouraged you subtly at first, she admitted. Then more, hoping you'd choose the ranch life, secure. Under our watch. Their motives clear now, love warped by trauma. But the pain they'd inflicted? Unforgivable, yet human. Inner turmoil peaked, revenge fantasies of a tell-all interview warred with visions of reconciliation. I retreated to the barn, strumming the hidden guitar, notes laced with anguish. Each chord echoed my conflict, strike back or extend grace. Emotions overwhelmed, deeper than before. A vortex of betrayal and empathy. The humane pull strengthened. Perhaps their lesson was mine too. Fear unchecked destroys. Audition day approached like a reckoning. I drove to Bozeman alone. The Institute's hall a neutral ground.
No parents shadowing.
Just me and my voice. Waiting in the lobby, nerves electric. I pondered the cost of vengeance. If I won, paraded their secrets, what then? A hollow victory? The thought ached. Humanity winning ground. On stage, under spotlights, I sang, a country original about hidden strengths and broken trusts. My voice soared, raw emotion pouring out. Judges nodded, applause followed. Backstage, the email came, accepted with scholarship. Triumph surged, but tempered by sorrow. Driving home, sky ablaze with sunset, I wrestled, confront again, or forgive. The internal battle raged fiercer, tears blurring the road. Home welcomed me with tentative hope. I got in, I announced at dinner. Silence. Then Mom's whisper, we're proud. Riley. Truly. Dad nodded. Eyes misty. Go chase it, but know the risks. Contracts. Agents, get a lawyer from the start. Advice. Not obstruction. The shift cracked my armor. Revenge dissolved into reluctant understanding. But wounds lingered. That night, alone, I journaled. Their fear stole years. But mine could steal more if I let bitterness rule. The lesson crystallized lightly, protect without possessing. Emotions flooded, profound and cathartic, paving toward healing. The acceptance letter from the Western Music Institute sat on my desk like a trophy, but victory tasted bittersweet amid the ranch's lingering shadows. Enrolling meant leaving Montana's vast plains for Nashville's buzz. A leap that terrified and thrilled. Inside, the revelations churned deeper. Mom and Dad's confessions exposed vulnerabilities I'd never imagined. Their breakdown stories, the lost lawsuit, painted them not as tyrants but survivors. There lies a desperate armor. Yet, the hurt pulsed. A constant throb. How to trust again. Revenge's ghost whispered temptations. Leak the journal. Tarnish their legacy, but humanity's voice grew louder, urging bridge building over burning. Conversations turned raw. One evening by the fire pit, stars overhead, Dad opened up further. That promoter ghosted after promising the world, breach under Montana contract law. But his fine print killed our case. His voice cracked, regret heavy. We projected it all on you, Riley. Unfair. Cowardly, Mom added. Trembling, your talent shone so bright, it reminded me of my failures. I couldn't bear watching you fall. Their admissions peeled layers. revealing souls scarred by ambition's cruel edge. Empathy flooded me, clashing with residual anger, emotions intensifying into a maelstrom of forgiveness and fury. I tested boundaries, playing my guitar openly in the living room. They listened, faces a mix of pride and pain. "That's beautiful," Mom murmured, tears glistening. Dad nodded. "You've got what we lacked, resilience." Compliments, long overdue, soothed yet stung. "Why now?" The internal dialogue raged. "Accept this olive branch," or "demand more atonement." The drama heightened, every glance loaded. But a light lesson emerged: scars teach, but don't define. En route to my first institute workshop, I stopped at a Billings cafe, reflecting. Revenge would satisfy momentarily, but redemption lasted. Their legal battles highlighted the West's harsh realities. Independent artists needed ironclad agreements, something I'd ensure with my own counsel. Their mistakes became my guideposts. Back home for a visit, tension peaked during a family hike in the Rockies. "I'm going public with my story," I blurted. "Testing." Panic flashed in their eyes. "Riley."
"No," Mom pleaded.
"It'd destroy us."
"Destroy?"
The word echoed my earlier fears. Instead of pressing, I softened. "Not to hurt you, but to heal." Anonymously, perhaps. Dad halted, gripping a rock. "We've wronged you. If that's your path, we understand." The concession broke me. Tears flowed. In that moment, revenge evaporated, replaced by profound compassion. Their humanity flawed.
Loving, mirrored mine.
Emotions overwhelmed, deeper than any prior surge. Gratitude for the truth, sorrow for lost time, hope for renewal. The humane ending crystallized. We're all products of our pains, but choice defines us. As I settled into Nashville, the Western Music Institute's halls echoing with aspiring voices, Montana's lessons anchored me. The ranch calls home were tentative at first, laced with awkward pauses, but grew warmer. "Proud of you, kid," Dad gruffed during one, his voice thick. Mom shared. "Sing for us sometime?" Invitations to bridge the gap. Inside, the final emotional torrent raged. Forgiveness wasn't erasure, but release. Their deceit had forged my strength, a silver lining in the storm. A performance night spotlighted the shift. I sang of family secrets and redemption. The crowd hushed. Backstage, a call. "That was us," Mom whispered. "We're sorry again." Tears choked me. "I know. I forgive." The words freed us. Humanity triumphing over drama. Back on the ranch, for holidays, we gathered around the old piano, now mine to play freely. Laughter mingled with melodies.
Halink evident.
The light lessons settled softly. Face fears together. Not in isolation. True protection empowers. Not imprisons. Our bond, reforged, proved resilient. Revenge, a path untaken. Yielding to grace. Emotions, profound and cathartic, sealed the chapter. Love endures. Transformed,